Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Daniel, and today in this video we'll be looking at another Lichess trading game that I played online. This time my Lichess rating is 2392. I'm playing white, and let's take a look at what happened in the game. So I open with my trusty d4. Some typical opening moves. My opponent goes for the Nimzo Indian. All just opening moves, nothing much to talk about here. And we'll say around here is sort of, we'll say when things start to get a little bit look better for me. So here at this point, we're pretty much entering into the middle game phase. Quickly, I do have this really nice queen side sort of structure here with the B, C, and D pawns already nicely advanced. Black's position is a little bit more cramped. I have a bit more space with these three pawns. And in general, I think my pieces are just more active compared to my opponents. These two bishops here aren't really staring at much. This one's staring at a pawn, this one's staring at a knight. If this knight moves, then maybe this pin can somehow be taken advantage of. So this position in general is already really good for me. Here, I continue with d5, trying to close down more, trying to close down this pawn mobility pretty much, so that this bishop can't really move. Keep in mind, it's already suppressed over here on the queen side. I can also play knight a4 to control b6 if I really need to. Continuing on. Here my opponent plays knight to b6, trying to liberate up this bishop. There is this pin here now. There is no knight defending this knight on f6 anymore. Here I play rook to d1, putting my rook opposite the queen. Maybe I can take in the future and take advantage of the fact that there is this pin here and this pawn could be a little bit weak. My opponent plays bishop to g4, trying to put some influence here on this diagonal. Maybe there's a pin coming. Here I play h3, simply kicking the bishop away. My opponent takes. And here, I actually thought I blundered, but here I'm actually completely winning. Here, I thought after bishop takes f6, bishop takes f3, I thought I blundered knight takes on c4. But then thankfully, there is only one defender here of this c6 pawn, which is the other pawn, which is the b7 pawn, so I take. And here, actually, if you take back with the pawn, then I have bishop takes on b6, on c6, sorry, and I'm forking the two rooks, and this is easily winning for me. Going back, my opponent here played the move b6, and here I played the move knight to e4, taking advantage of this pin situation going on here. Keep in mind, this knight on c4 used to be on d7, but it rotated over to c4. I'm also actually attacking the knight here on c4, so this is actually really good for me, and I thought this position was looking really nice. My opponent plays b5 to clamp in this knight here. However, this does allow knight takes on f6. You can't take with the queen because I take with the bishop, so g takes on f6, and now my opponent has this really ugly structure here, combined with my two bishops and my queen, which are coming in, and maybe somehow I can transfer my rook over once this pawn moves. This is looking really good for me. Here I play the move bishop to d5. My idea is to take advantage of this pin pawn and play queen to g6 check. Bishop takes on f6, queen takes on h6, queen takes f7, bishop takes f7. Black's position is falling apart. Not to mention I can even win a pawn here, worst case scenario, and you will notice that Black's remaining pieces are all really passive. And I also have this really passive c6 pawn. King to g7, protecting g6, getting out of this pin. Here I play queen to e4. I was debating here during the game between queen f5 or queen to e4. I in the end played queen to e4 because just in case something here I miscalculated, I could still end up trading down here and winning a pawn, worst case scenario. Queen f5 is the best move, and queen f5 is the bolder move. The idea is still to always land on g4. Pretty much they have the same motive, pretty much both lead to the same thing. Queen f5 does have bishop to e4 as another purpose, although I wanted to put some pressure on this knight just in case something didn't work out. So queen to e4, queen to e7. Here I play queen to g4 check, and after king to h7, bishop to e5, bishop to e4 check. There is no f5 to fork the bishop and the queen because I can simply take with the queen. And after king to h8, here I play queen to f5, and here after only 24 moves, my opponent resigned. So this, in fact, I believe was a really smooth game. Very nice game. In fact, I checked post-game analysis. I played really well. No mistakes really. Very smooth game in general. Very nice calculation. Setting up this final queen f5 mate threat here. Pretty much black is mated at most in 2 moves. If you don't move your king, then there is just simply queen to h7 checkmate, because all of the squares are taken. And if you move your king, let's say king to g8, then queen to h7 check, king to f8, and these two pieces block the king's escape. So now I simply have queen to h8, which is actually just simply checkmate. And going back here, if you went to g7 instead, it leads to the same thing, because you can't go to g6 or f6. Both of those squares are taken. G6 is controlled by my queen, so just to illustrate, this would lead to the same thing. This is also checkmate, same checkmate. So in fact here my opponent best is checkmate in 2 moves. So very smooth game, like I mentioned, not too many mistakes. I took advantage of my opponent sort of dancing their knight around, and then took advantage of the fact that the c6 pawn they can't really take back, and I have this really nice pass c6 pawn, taking advantage of this pin here, and a lot of different tactical motives. So in general, very smooth game, very happy with it, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.